Welcome to Whole and Beautiful. Welcome. This is Whole and Beautiful. I am Angela Oliphant, your host, and I am so glad that you have joined me for another night of information, revelation, and change. Yes, it is another great night, another wonderful night to just hang out. And I'm glad that you have decided to hang out with me on tonight. I am so excited about the different things that I'm going to share with you on tonight. As I say every week, if you have a topic, if you have something that you want to share on the show, or you want me to go search it out, because I'm the one that's going to go get the information for you, then send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to go get that information for you and present that show to you all. Because what are we? We are the whole and beautiful nation, and we want to learn, and we want to grow, and we want to prosper in life. So that's what I want for you. Also, I am working on some different things in the background and doing some different things that I need to do to bring some really good shows to you. So I really would love your input if you would send me an email. I would really love the input as to what you would like to see this year. I have a lot of things in my mind, and I am about to bring them to pass. It's about to happen because God is working with some people and He's working with me, and it's going to be some great shows that are going to happen before the end of this year. So if you want to be a part of the show and you want to be a guest, let me know. I will get you on here, wholebeautiful@gmail.com. We can sit down and we can have a conversation, because I love talking to people, because I believe you have a story. I believe that your life is interesting. Even though you may not think it is, I think that we can find some interesting things that happen, and that it will help your life, will help somebody else's life. So I want you to send me those emails, and I want you to contact me, and I want you to let me know what topics you're looking for this year. And I had somebody tell me about a topic not too long ago that they would like to see on the show, and I am in the process of working on that. It's going to be a great show once we get that show together. So y'all be on the lookout for that. And if you're listening on tonight, even if you're listening on Saturday where the replay will be playing, it is International Women's Day. So happy Women's Day to everyone that's watching. And I'll ask that you like, that you comment, that you share this broadcast with somebody else. Let them know we're here. We're celebrating women this month. We are celebrating who they are, who God created them to be. And we are celebrating just the woman, just a person, So tonight is going to be another night where I'm going to share some things with you. I'm going to share with you about the power of a woman. If you haven't read the book is by Miles Monroe, and it is an awesome book. And I know that there's some YouTube videos out there where he speaks on this also. And if you would go and you would listen to those will bless your life. It will bless your entire life if you go out and you listen to some of the things that he talked about the power of a woman. Because sometimes we think that we are powerless. Sometimes we feel like we don't have a voice. We don't have anything that we can say. Some of us get in the mode of what I would say is like overdrive. You try to prove who you are when you can just be. You can just be who you are. You don't have to prove it to anybody, because if you're in Christ, you are a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new, and you can be the new you that you want to be. You can just be who you are, and that is enough. You don't have to try to prove anything to anybody. Just be. And that is one of the hardest things sometimes for us to do, is just be who we are. Because we're always saying, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. And it's okay to strive towards a goal, or to move towards that goal, or want to be better and do better. I get that. I understand that. But realize, in the place where you are right now, at this moment, you are enough. You're enough. You can just be who you're called to be. Just be you. Just do you. Just be the person that you know that you can be, and applaud you and love on you and keep moving forward. And I'm not saying it like in a selfish way either, because I don't want people to be selfish. I don't want you to be arrogant about it. I just want you to embrace the skin that you're in, embrace who you are, love who you are, and keep pressing towards being the greater. If you want to be great at something, you keep pressing towards it. You keep practicing it. You keep pushing towards it. Why? So that you can be greater at it. But realize you are great. You are wonderful. You are lovely. You are chosen. You're strong in the Lord. You're strong in Him. And you can trust in Him, and everything is going to flow. It may not flow in the direction that we think that it should have flowed, but it will flow, and everything will work out. It works itself out every single time, especially when you're serving the Lord, especially when you're serving Him, because that's where we find our identity. That's where we find our purpose. We need to find our purpose in Him. And if you are commenting and I haven't said anything, it's because I don't see it right now. But I'm glad that you're out there, and I'm glad that you're here. And I applaud you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in and listening on tonight. The first thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that woman is God's idea. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about that you were on the mind of God, and He created you out of man? He took His time with you to form you out of man so that you could be the being that you are today. That He created you. He handcrafted you to be here during this season, during this time in the earth. You're here and you have a purpose. You were His idea. Have you ever even thought about that? That you are God's idea? That right there alone, I was thinking about it earlier today. You could just drop the mic on that and walk away, because you are God's idea. Woman was God's idea. Because why? He said man should not be alone. So He created for him what? A helpmeet. He created somebody that would be compatible with the man, that will help the man, that will be there with him, that will operate and move, and they will grow together to be there with him. And that they can move as the first power couple. People talking about power couples. Oh, I like, goals, and they're talking about the goals in the power couple. That was our first power couple right there. They were there to do what they needed to do. And if you realize it and you think about your own life and you think about you have so much influence. You have so much influence over others. You have influence over your household. You have influence over your husband. You have influence over your children. You got influence in places where you may not even think you have influence, but you do. As a woman, it's just this thing in the spirit of a woman. When you have that in your heart, it's like they can be so persuasive, and they can talk, and they can do certain things. Sometimes they don't even have to speak. How many of us know that mama look, or that look? You don't even have to even open your mouth. You can have a look. And because of that look, kids will get in line. Husbands will be like, what's going on with you? You all right? You all right? Everybody's checking to see, because you have that look to put everything in line, and you don't even have to part your lips to say anything, because it's in you. You were God's idea. He has a purpose for you. He has a plan for you. And we all need to find out what that purpose and what that plan is. What is the purpose that he has you here on this earth? What is your purpose of why he put you here? Because you're here for a reason. You were God's idea. Man didn't think you up. Man was like out here naming these animals and naming all the stuff. He was out there doing that. And God said, you don't need to be by yourself. I need to put somebody else out here with you. And he created us. He created the woman. So we are his idea. We was his plan of action. We were intentionally made by him, handcrafted by the Father. In the Word of God, it tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So happy Women's Day. Some of us don't like to embrace the fact that we're a woman. I remember turning 30. And when I turned 30, I embraced the full fact that it's like I am woman, hear me roar type deal. I was so excited to turn 30. I started really embracing who I was. I started being okay with me and being okay with the skin that I'm in. I started being okay with a lot of things in my life. And I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. Now, do I had those moments later on where I'd be like, I don't know. Yeah, they would rise up every now and then. But when I turned 30, it's like I took a sigh of relief because I was like, man, I'm good. I'm okay. I can embrace who I am. I can love on me. I can be good to me and rather realize who I am. I am unique and I can embrace that. I am unique in all the things that I do. Even with my dress, I thought about when I was talking to my grands like earlier in the week, and they were talking about dressing and clothes and all this other stuff. And I thought about the way that I used to dress. Now my sister will tell you that girl used to dress. I used to wear some things, but I used to, because like with the Boy George thing, I used to wear my clothes and try to do the Boy George look. And I tried to do other looks. I would put different patterns together. If they was the same color, I was like, they go together. And I'll put different patterns and stuff together. I would have, different ways of putting my attire together. So when I see my grands do that, I was like, they get it honest because they get it from me. And that's what I did. I loved it, like experimenting with the clothes and doing different looks and trying to, do different things with the makeup and all of that. So that was me. And until somebody like was, people were mean, because like, kids can be mean, children can be mean to you, and even adults can too. How about that? But because different people would say certain things and they would do certain things, I was like, that's my look though. That's what I like. And by the time I turned 30, I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I can, I know how to dress when I go this place. I know how to dress when I go that place. But for Angela being Angela and dressing the way she wants to dress, Angela's just going to dress that way and she's going to be happy with what she has on. It's just we have to get to a point where we are really embracing who we are. Because when you embrace who you are, let me tell you something, you can literally change your whole environment. You can change your environment, the people that are around you. You can speak into your own atmosphere and command it to change when you know who you are and when you have purpose. But you got to have the purpose in you. You got to know that God created me for a purpose. He didn't just throw me out here in the earth for no reason. I'm here for a reason. I have an assignment. I want to accomplish that assignment. I want to move in that assignment. And guess what? I am God's idea. He thought of me. He thought about me. And he put me in this earth during this time frame. He put me with the family that I'm with for a reason. Why did he put me in that family? Why did he put me in that family? God showed me so that I can be a blessing to my family, so that I can be with them and show them what I need to show them, because I wasn't just put in this family by happenstance. I'm in this family for a reason. So let me do what I need to do. Let me be an asset, not a liability. Let me be an asset to my family. Let me be an asset to my coworkers. Let me be an asset wherever I go, not a liability. I want to add to the equation. I want to multiply to it. I want to come in knowing who I am, walking with purpose, walking in and knowing that I am worthy of being in whatever space that God has opened up for me, that I can be in that space and I can embrace that space. And I don't have to cower down or go sit in a corner or try to hide out, because I am in that space. He opened up the door for me to be in that space. So let me embrace every part of it. Why? Because I am his idea. I am his idea. He took thought. It was intentionality to create me. So let me embrace every part of my purpose. Let me embrace every part of who I am. How about that? How about we just embrace who we are and walk in the purpose that he created us to be? What was I saying earlier? Happy Women's Day. Be the woman that you have been called to be. And we realized, even in the book, when I was reading the book, it talks about how the woman needs to stay connected to her source. Who is her source? Her source is God. We found our purpose in him. He freed us. He made us equal in him. Everything we need is in him, and he lives in us. And everything that we need, we can tap into, because he already laid it out for us. He is always, from the moment that before you were even born, the word of God said he knew you. So he had already placed you in the path where he wants you to be. And you're already free. You're already equal. You already have the voice that's needed for this time, in this season. But you got to speak up. You got to believe it, and you got to walk in it. Believe it and walk in it. Don't cower down. Believe it and walk. Walk with purpose. Walk with authority. Walk knowing that you have that worthiness about you. I'm worthy to be here. I'm worthy to walk in this place and share with these people. God has placed people in your path that you really need to minister to. It may be for you to give them a hug. It may be for you to sow a gift or sow a seed into their lives. It may be for you just to be in that moment and in that time, and you're sitting there and you're quietly praying. Why? Because he put you in that place at that time, because you're deterring some things. You're deterring some things. You can sit and pray to yourself and cause atmospheres to begin to change, all because you decided to go where God told you to go that particular day and to pray. And something that may have been going to happen may not happen that day, all because you sat and you prayed. You could be in your home and God can speak to your heart for you to pray. Women, I want you to listen for the voice of the Lord. Develop your relationship with him. Develop that relationship where you hear him and you know that he's talking to you. You have power in you. You have power in your voice. You have power in your demeanor. You have power in your facial expressions, in your spirit, man. And you can cause things to happen, all because you walked into a room, all because you addressed someone the right way. Because like we can talk, and it can be for good, it can be for bad. Let's make it for good. We have influence, and that influence can be good or bad. Let's make it good. Let's know who we are. Let's embrace who we are as women. And let's move forward and be the great women that we are. Because society would like to say, women are catty, that they're fighting against each other. This one don't like that one. This one trying to bring that one down. And they try to pit you against each other. Why would they try to pit each woman against another woman? Because they know if you're coming together and you're stronger together. You're standing together. And I told y'all this all the time, every single show. You are not an island. You don't stand alone. We all need each other. So when you applaud that other woman, or you stand with her, or you're moving forward with her, or you're pushing her forward, or you're encouraging her, it's power in that. So why, if there's so much power there, that's why the enemy will try to come in to distract and try to divide you so that you're not working together. We are great in our own ways. We are unique and we're different. But all those unique and different gifts coming together is an explosion of power. You will be amazed at what could be accomplished when we come together as one, when we move together as one, when we come together and we are walking together, and I share my gifts with you, you share your gifts with me. We share our ideas. We share where we're going, what we want to do, and we see how we can get in there and begin to help each other and begin to push each other. Don't try to hide the other one's gift, because it's not a competition. It is not a competition. We complement each other. Even if we're doing some of the same things, we complement each other. We're not in competition of who's going to get there first, or I'm trying to beat you out and you trying to beat me out. No. I'm in my own lane. So you get in your own lane, and we're going to arrive at our destinations and where we're supposed to be. Because we are what? On this whole and beautiful journey. And we're going to arrive to our destination with power, with authority, with wisdom, with knowledge. I'm applauding you. You applauding me. I celebrate you. And you celebrate me. And watch how things begin to change. It's when we fight against each other. Because if women they can fight against each other sometimes. And when they do, what is the benefit? There's no benefit there. We need to come together and we need to work together. We need to realize that God is our source. He is the one that we run to. He's the one that's covering us. If you're married, your husband should be your covering. Because why? He's covered by God. And then you're covered by him. You all are covered in the end by God. But you need somebody that's flowing in God, that's trusting God, that can cover you, that's not going to put a lid on you, but cover you in prayer. Not somebody that's going to put limitations on you so that you can't grow, so that you can't move forward, or put all these stakes, these boundaries around you where you can't go but so far and put you in a box. No, you want to be able to flow. You want to be able to do what you need to do and what you were called to do. Because we thrive when we are in our purpose. We thrive when we are going forward and in our purpose and knowing what we're supposed to be doing. Oh my goodness. There's power in that. And when you have those negative thoughts, you need to start shutting that down. Why? So that you can move forward and be who you're supposed to be. Stop being stagnated. Stop allowing yourself to talk you out of what you need to do. Stop saying those mean things to yourself where you're not moving forward. You need to encourage yourself in the Lord. You need to push yourself in Christ and know, I got this. I got this. I may have to walk by faith. I may have to walk out here like stepping on nothing, but realizing that I'm going to land on something. Why? Because God got me. And I'm going to press and I'm going to move forward and I'm going to be all that I can be. I may make a mistake, yes, but that's something I can learn from and I can keep moving. In the process, one thing that I started doing with myself was I started going and talking to people, because normally I would sit in a room and wouldn't say a word. I would sit off to the side because why? I felt intimidated in a room of other people who were professionals, who I deemed to be professionals, who I deemed to be, up here. And I was like down here. So maybe I don't need to say anything. But I started realizing, no, you're worthy to be in the room. Go talk to people. They are people just like you are. You may just find that one person that you connect with that's going to spark something else in you that may be moving in the direction where you're going, and they may be able to pour some things into you. You may have something that you need to share with that other person. So don't look down on yourself. Push yourself forward. Walk into the room knowing, oh, I'm here for a reason and for a purpose. Go talk to people. If you were like me and you sat off to the side and wouldn't say anything to anybody, I challenge you to start talking to people. I challenge you to be the first one to speak to somebody instead of waiting for them to say something to you. I challenge you to change the narrative that you had in your head for so long that's keeping you in these limitations, because there are no limits in God. We can go as far as we need to go and do the things that we need to do, but we got to graduate to it. We got to embrace it. We got to walk in it. How about that? Walk in it, live it out. Can you live your dream? Yes, you can live out your dream. And you can live it in the here and the now. It can manifest for you if you just believe. If you believe that I am a woman, I am God's idea. So since I am God's idea and He created me, then I go back to the one who created the product to see how the product operates, to see what needs, because you go back, you'll go back to the manual, be like, okay, what did they put in here that this TV is supposed to work the way it's supposed to work, or the computer works the way this way it's supposed to work this way. So I got to go back to the manual, and I got to look through it, and I got to read through it and find out what all it entails so I can get the best out of this computer, or I can get the best out of my TV, or I can get the best out of whatever it is, because I got to go back to the manual and know, because you find out, oh, I didn't know it did this. I didn't know my phone could do all these other things until I went back and started looking at the manual and knowing, oh, it does this too. It's amazing. And we want to go back to the manual, the Bible, and find out some things. Why? Because the Creator is already shared with you all about who you are. But if you never go read it, if you never go study it, if you never go apply it, you will never know. You may pick up on a few things here and there that other people say, or somebody might show you something. You be like, oh, that's powerful. Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. But if you don't go in and study it for yourself, you're only going off of what they said. You go off of what they told you. But it's something that happens when you go in and study for yourself. When you go in and you look at being a woman for yourself. When you go in and you check out your own health issues. Going and finding out about your health. Going in and finding out about your physical body. How it operates. What's going on with me. The changes that may be happening. The different things that may be going on in my body. That's when you know, okay, something ain't right, because this, and this is happening. You need to know. You need to know. Even if you get the information to share with somebody else, it's helping you too. You need to know all about you. From your head to your toes, you need to know all about you. You need to know about you physically, emotionally, socially, every part of who you are. Get to know you. Get to know who you are. Because some of us don't even realize who we really are. And some of us don't even tap into who we really are. We don't even use the fullness of who we are. We only have that little bit that we tap into, and that we do that, and we're like, yay. But it's so much more that you can do. There's no limits to what you can accomplish once you set your mind to it. But it's like in your heart. Where's your heart tonight? Think about it. Where's my heart tonight? Am I discouraged about something? Am I worrying about something? Is something, like heavy on my heart? Have you ever sat with you and say, what is going on with me? Just to be silent for a moment. There was a time I couldn't be silent. I couldn't be silent in my own house. It would disturb me. I would be like, it's too quiet in here. And I would have on a TV, radio, something, because I just could not be quiet. And one day I decided, I was like, through prayer and praying and talking to the Lord, I said, God, I got to get over this, because there's something wrong if I can't just sit and be silent and be with me. I need to figure out what this is. I need to let something go. I need to do something. So I started coming in my house and not immediately turning on the TV, not immediately turning on the radio. Was it hard in the beginning? Yes, it was, tremendously. And I would walk around and I would just talk to the Lord, because I was like, I can't have it be loud in here. I got to be quiet. I got to be alone with me. I got to hear what's going on with Angela. So I started being quiet. I started realizing certain things and stuff and just being bombarded in my mind. But then a peace started to come. So much so that I love to have the peace and the quiet now. There was a time I couldn't go to sleep without a TV on. I had to have a TV, had to have music on, had to have something playing, something going in order for me to fall asleep. And I was like, no, you got to get out of that too. You got to be able to lay down and rest without having all this stuff on. Because if you realize it or not, your spirit's still awake, your spirit's still going. When that TV's still on, and then you be having all the other dreams and stuff. Why? Because that stuff is on TV throughout the night, you know. So it's like I had to come to a place where I could be at peace and go to sleep. And I praise God for that now, because I can sit and be quiet and be alone with me. And years ago, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was like, I couldn't sit 5 minutes in a room by myself and just sit with me and be quiet. Oh my goodness. It would run me up the wall. I couldn't do it. But now I can. It is an absolute joy to be able to sit and just be quiet. Because now I'll get in my car, don't even have to turn that radio on. Because why? Quiet. And I'll talk to the Lord. I'll talk out some things that maybe be going on in my heart, in my mind, in my body even, and just talking. And then I sit and I listen for an answer. And sometimes when I'm talking, I will speak out the answer. It is good to be quiet sometimes with yourself. A lot of times women find their value in other people. It's like when I'm doing. If I'm doing this for this person, or if I'm doing this for this organization, or I'm doing the mommy thing, and then I'm doing the wifey thing, and then I'm going out here and I'm doing the friend thing, and I'm just over here. I'm in all these organizations and all these charities and all these other things, and I'm just going, because I'm finding my worth in what I'm doing instead of just being who I am. Find your worth in just being who you are. Because when all the other things fade away, and they will, those little children that you're pouring into, one day going to be grown children. And they may not be around for you to be able to pour into no more. Those other people that you were like with and you pouring into it, and friends and whatever, they may not be there all the time. As times and seasons change, all of that starts to change. So can you be with you and just be? Can you just be and love you? Can you just be who you are? And applaud you for just being. Not, I got to do this so I can get the applause, or I can do this because I feel my worth in it when I when I can go and talk to my kids and pour into my children, when I'm doing all these things and being part of the PTO or the PTA, or going out here and being a part of the school situation and all the other stuff that we do. We do a lot as women and we put on all these different hats. But who are you for real? Who are you on this International Women's Day? Have you taken the time out today to applaud you? Have you taken the time out today to just sit with you and say, hey, how am I doing? What's going on in me? What are some of the things that I want to accomplish? What are some of the things that I want to do? I want to share with you a story because we've been talking about different women throughout this month. I'm just talking about some different biblical women. And I want to share this woman with you. And she doesn't even have a name in the word. Ain't that something? She was mentioned, but her name never was. And that is the servant girl that's in 2 Kings 5:2. Yes, this servant girl, she was a servant to Naaman. And if we all know about Naaman, Naaman had leprosy. He is a king in the Bible. He had leprosy. And Naaman, um, she worked as a servant in his household. And I began to think about her life. I had to think about her life because she was taken away from her people to be a servant in his house. And she could have used that against him because she saw things going on. She knew he had leprosy. She knew how he could be healed. And she could have kept that information to herself. She didn't have to share with anybody what she knew. She knew that the Lord could heal him. She knew that God could heal him through the prophet. And she could have kept that information to herself. She could have been bitter because, hey, you took me out of my country. You took me out of my place where I was with my family. You brought me over here to serve you. You brought me over here to be a maid servant, to serve in the house and to do all this stuff. And I could have kept that information to myself. But when she saw what was going on, she was like, if he would call upon the prophet, if he would go to the prophet, he could be healed. He could be healed. She gave information so that Naaman could receive his healing. How many of us are in situations where we have the information, but because of something somebody said or something, the way they treated you, oh, I ain't gonna share it. I ain't gonna give you nothing. I'm gonna let you just sit out here and suffer because you took me out of my place, or you did this to me, or you did that to me. And we become bitter. And we sit and we watch other people suffer when we have the answer. That is not what she did. She had the answer. And she gave the answer because she said he needs to be healed. She didn't think about all the stuff that she had gone through, being taken from out of her family, being placed in with this other family. Now I'm working over here, and they took me from everything that I knew. They don't even mention my name, but her heart, you remember me saying we could change atmospheres, we could change places where we are. She literally changed his whole life because she was there. Because she was there and she spoke up. She spoke up. And because he listened. And even he was told what to do, he didn't want to do what he was told to do. But eventually he did what he was supposed to do and he was healed. But if it had not been for the servant girl who knew God, who knew about the prophet, who knew God, if she had kept her mouth closed, would Naaman have even been healed? If she had not shared the information that was in her to be a blessing to somebody else, would he have ever received his healing? Think about that. You hold somebody's healing in your voice. You hold it in your heart. You hold their next with your next word that you speak, with the next move that you make. You're not only holding your own next, you're holding somebody else's next right inside of you. Will you release it so that they can be released? Will you say it so that they can be free? Will you let it go so that somebody else can have what they need? Because it's all in you, and I don't even know why these tears are flowing, but do you realize how much power and influence that you have as being a woman of God? Trust and know that somebody's life can change with the very word that you speak or don't speak. You are powerful. You are anointed. You are great. You are important. And your life means everything to somebody. So don't think less of yourself. And I'm going to leave y'all with this because my time is like winding on up. At the end of this book, when he was getting to the end, Dr. Monroe, he said that I wholeheartedly encourage you to pursue all of God's purposes for you. He created your spirit out of his being and out of his love. He designed you perfectly to fulfill your calling in him. Accept the freedom he has given you in Christ. Know that you are esteemed by him. Develop the creative ideas he has given you in your innermost being. Use the many gifts and talents he has placed within you. Be the blessing to yourself, your family, and your community that God has created you to be. And that's what I'm leaving with you tonight. Just be who you are and realize you hold the power of somebody's next. You hold the power of somebody's healing, somebody's deliverance. It's all in you. You speaking or not speaking, you doing or not doing, you being or not being. Have the most amazing weekend. Enjoy your family, enjoy you, and I will see you back here again next week at 7 p.m. Whole and Beautiful will be right here. If you miss any part of this, I will have a replay on tomorrow, 4 p.m. You can get that replay. Until then, I want you to know I am Angela Oliphant, allowing you to see, hear, and know that Whole and Beautiful is not just your destination. It's most definitely your journey. So come on the journey with me, all right? Good night, everybody. Love you much. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to be a guest or recommend a guest, you can contact me at wholebeautiful@gmail.com. On all other social media platforms, it's Whole and Beautiful. Remember, Whole and Beautiful is not just your destination, it is most definitely your journey.